Hey, Steve.
Dan, nice to see you.
Good evening. Welcome to Mazes and Muses, roaming the labyrinth of creativity after dark. This is when we can use all the bad words.
Razzafrazza and
Because I always, for some reason, in all my podcasts and streams or whatever, I always end up partnering with gentlemen whose vocabulary is not as blue as mine.
yeah, I don't know why that is. I think at some point I heard like comedians talking about how working blue is a crutch. And I don't think that's true necessarily because sometimes those words are the right words.
Right.
But I guess I'm just always trying to be more friendly, and I think that language can sometimes put people back on their heels a little bit. So ease them in. The last half of the show is going to be nothing but profanity-laden tirade.
Well, I tend to be kind of profanity, laden, but but it's all in good natured.
You're a dungeon master. That's the territory.
I don't mean ill will or anything when I use my 4-letter words or anything to that effect. But that's just I just don't give it. Zero fucks given. So there you go.
There you go.
Bleep that out. Kids, send the kids to bed. We're going on. Okay, so Steve, usually we're Sunday mornings, but we were busy. We both are, at least I was busy. I had my Titans football game pre-brunch thing to go. The Titans won, in case you were worried.
I was.
So we're doing a Monday night. We're just following up the next night after, and basically same thing as we do Sunday mornings, but without the coffee, right?
And without Sly Flourish cutting into our audience. So it's good to see you. But tell the night people who you are.
I am Dan Taylor. I've dabbled in making comic books, creating comic books, as well as I'm getting all choked up, as well as RPG, third-party RPG products, and I am the dungeon master for the Catacombs and Comedians, a live on stage at comedy club show where I dungeon master 4 or 5 stand-up comedians who claim to have played Dungeons and Dragons when they got the gig, but we find out that they really haven't. So, gotcha. And who the hell are you, Steve?
I the hell am Steve Conley. I write and draw the webcomic The Middle Age, which you can read on Webtoons, Tapas, and Go Comics. It's about a knight who's in love with a dragon and has a magic sword that hates him. It's going on for about 297 episodes so far. 298 is on my little digital drawing table right there. And I also make TTRPG content. The Any Losing in Toxomancy. I heard a line that Seth Meyers said about losing an Emmy Award. Came in second. Four-way tie for second.
There you go.
And also Death Dealing, which is in the fulfillment stage right now. I'm still waiting on those card decks, but everybody who has I just took 10 more orders to the post office today for folks who didn't include the deck itself in their order. And now I'm warming up waiting in the wings in the batter's box. Is that right? Any of that right?
No, the on deck circle.
On deck circle. Thank you. My Mets card will be taken away from me. Is Meta Domain, which you can see at prayershandbook.com. Currently, 140 mortals, gods, and demigods are queued up to see when it launches. And so that's what I do. That's who the hell I am.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. No. We just wanted to keep the streak going. So you were at Baltimore Con, correct?
I was.
Weekends ago or a weekend ago?
One weekend ago. Last weekend I was at Baltimore Comic Con. It's a 3-day show in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the show's 24th year. I've been an exhibitor of all 24 of them. Technically in person, 23 of them. They had an online only year where I poked my head in briefly digitally. But it was a really good show. It's a really interesting show. A lot of people who've done conventions, certainly in the comic book world, after the COVID years, not that we're out of them entirely, but after the initial 2020 burst, and the shows were canceled, people came back to conventions in a big way, and their pockets were full of cash. And also, the number of creators who were there were fewer. A lot of people stayed home, so it was fewer attendees, but they were loaded, and fewer creators among which to spread that wealth. And so people were having record conventions. And I think this year was a return to normalcy for a lot of folks. That people said it was down, or I heard that about conventions all around the country. That's kind of like the feeling, but I don't. I think it's kind of just returning to 2019. There was kind of irrational exuberance for a little while, but now a return to normalcy. But I had a great show. This is the first show I had. I mean, whenever you do a comic convention, if you've got a new book, that will be a good show. This was the first show where I had both Intoximancy and Death Dealing. And it brought over a different group of people. People saw the light up D12 I had on my table. They saw the D&D stuff, the minis. And it brought over a different crowd. And I had a really good show. I'm excited. It makes me more excited about Gamehole Con in October. It makes me more excited about doing more gaming stuff and kind of combining the comics world and the TTRPG world a bit.
No, I love it. In fact, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent. Hey, Dan's got another idea. No, but like if there's a comic book, with like 20 pages of story and then 20 pages of adventure based on that comic book, that would be a cool thing.
I think it could be. I remember picking up, it was Thunder Agents way back when Deluxe Comics had was doing a few issues. They put Villains and Vigilantes stats for some of the Thunder Agents in the back, and that was like, ooh, that's exciting. But I think combining those things I think having separate products is better. I think the gaming people want the game stuff and the comic people want the comic stuff. I have a lot of people who read the Middle Age, and they every time I send a note and an email update saying, hey, there's new game stuff, I get a note, like an apologetic note. Someone says, I want to support you, but I don't play games.
Right.
And the same thing when I post something about comics, somebody was like, I play the games, but I'm not into reading comics, not a silly fantasy night comic. I just want to have my cool rogues or my silly wizards. I don't feel like those hybrid products work as well. I think that the notion of narrower is better than wider. Like they say that the more personal it is, the more universal. I feel like that kind of applies. You'll do better by doing something really specific. Like if you did like a knitting subclass of wizard and it's all about yarn, and you really got into it. And again, it would be something I think you'd have to lean on your own skills. If you were if there's a viewer right now who's really into knitting or bowling or I don't know, pick an activity and with the Titans, and you make a subclass that's all about that thing, that will resonate so deeply with somebody that they can't help but buy it. Whereas if it's something that's just a sort of passing thing where it's a combination of two lightly, I don't know, it feels weird. Like I don't. If you were Neil Gaiman and you included the character sheets for the Sandman in the back of the Sandman books, I don't think people would go rushing to buy the Sandman game. It just feels like two different. Is it what we were talking about with the D&D movie? That I don't think it helped sell a book.
No, it didn't. So
it's that sort of thing. I think like having those silos as separate but adjacent is better. But I do think though that if you had a Star Marshals RPG, people who are into the lore and into the world would absolutely pick up the graphic novel, knowing that it fleshes out some of the lore. That's a different thing too. Because I think a lot of us read the Marvel superhero rule book or the DC role-playing game book and went like, oh, this is all sorts of in-depth world building stuff we didn't know about at the comics we read.
I am still waiting on Zoop for all my information for my backers for Star Marshals.
Information. Have you gotten paid?
No, I haven't gotten paid and I haven't gotten information.
It ended up like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's baffling. Is it regular communication and we're going to have this for you soon? We're going to have this for you soon, that sort of thing?
No, when I email them saying, hey, just get looking for an update. And they're like, oh, we're still tracking down 4 delinquent. And that was last Monday. I haven't sent my, check-in email because I feel like I shouldn't have to be honest with you.
Agreed. You're the customer.
Yeah. I'm, because I'm waiting on, $3,000 or so. And
right.
and all the names of the people, so I can say I don't even have a way to tell people that I'm, who backed it.
Is there a passive aggressive thing like saying here's an update that you can send to Zoop to say post this? Hey everyone, congrats! This campaign went really great. It's 3 weeks later. I'm still just waiting on Zoop to get me the updates, and as soon as we have that, we'll send it your way.
Yeah, I don't want to be, I don't want to be a dicks, but I don't. I'm.
Well, and it was something lovely. Like, and thanks to all the help from everyone at Zoop. You guys have been wonderful. Really great project. Hope to work with you again. Like, really excited.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna give them till Wednesday. I think I'll send my next email saying, "Hey, what's up?"
Fair enough.
And say, let's get, forget those delinquent,
That's how I felt about Gamehole Con. I kind of gave them until a certain time. Like, okay, at this point, I'm going to cancel stuff, and I'm just going to just write it off. And that was like really, it was that morning where they wrote back, "Oh, sorry about the delay, blah blah blah." And I'm still not on the website anywhere, but they say I absolutely have a table. I hope that's true.
No, and that you'll be at Gamehole Con, and I will be at Gamehole Con, and I think this will be the first official gathering of the Mazes and Muses.
I don't think we've met in person,
unless it was in San Diego.
I don't think so. I don't think our paths have crossed.
Yeah. So this will be a first. We're going to tear up Madison, Wisconsin.
You're going to be so surprised. I'm 4'2", and I think it's really.
Good.
I'm a halfling. It's really exciting.
Obviously, because if you compare our two images right now, you're obviously much smaller than me.
I lean back so I don't look like a bobblehead.
Oh,
I look like a pop fun. I get too close and like suddenly the.
I was a C-section baby, so I look like a bobblehead anyway. Especially with the shaved head.
Gamehole Con. That's going to be awesome. You have a Catacombs and Comedians event Friday night.
Friday night, 6:00. It's Catacombs and Comedians presents Catacombs and Creators. And I've lined up 4 talents from the role-playing game industry, and where I'm going to send them through Fungin or through Flag and the Dragons Fungin, and we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome.
And I hope to have all sorts of neat. There'll be plenty of I'll have plenty of stickers and trading cards and stuff like that for anybody who comes to the show and stuff like that. So. When
you have, I don't know if I read the directory listing fully. Do you mention things like prizes will be given away, freebies galore, that sort of thing?
I don't think so. I don't think that made the copy, so to speak. But I'm gonna entertain the masses while I check something real quick.
Well, I'll be there, set up, I believe, in the artist and author area. I don't have any idea how big my table is. I was just working on new banners to put behind my booth because all the banners I have currently are a little too wide and they are comic book centric, and I want to do something much more game centric. So I'm excited.
Oh, so we have a location now for the room. That's
great.
New. So yes, it's Friday at 6 p.m. and it's at the Mendota 2-214 room A.
And that is a free event, right?
Free event. Only 50 seats are available, though.
Wow.
Tickets are still available for it. And my players will include Matt Forbeck, who we've had as a guest before here on the show. He's awesome.
Yeah. I was going to jump in and add color, but you had it all lined up.
He does the Marvel superhero game that just came out. Plus he's worked on every single system throughout the world, plus his own shotguns and sorcery RPG. John Kovalik, the cartoonist behind Dork Tower,
that's awesome,
will be joining us, as well as Thomas Gofton, who's got a third-party supplement out that I have somewhere in my office, my Forrest J. Ackerman-like office here. And Anthony Joyce Rivera, who is another who's worked on some D&D stuff, I believe, in the past. So it should be fun. I'm gonna. They've made their characters. I've seen their characters.
Great.
I think Matt Forbeck is a multi-class, 4 different classes, all first level.
Excellent.
I know John Kovalik is a tabaxi, and Thomas Crofton is doing something from his own system, his own third-party product. So I have no idea what it is, other than it deals something with time, kind of a time wizard type thing. So he's going to break my whole game because. And Anthony Joyce Rivera, I think, is a goblin witch, if I remember correctly.
That's awesome. Are you going to have any artwork done by Steve Musgrave?
No, I've got Steve Coughlin, one of my from my army of Steves, who does a lot of the character work for Catacombs and Convenience, has already done it. And I have posted a promo photo or promo artwork here and there, but not a whole lot yet because
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we will have all sorts of things. It'll be the regular for those of you who have ever been to Catacombs and Comedian show, it'll be much similar to that, but probably the jokes will be better because it's not stand-up comics. They're actually people who know role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons. So we're just going to rip it to shreds. As our slogan says, making a joke of the world's greatest role-playing game.
That's great.
So that's my Friday night, and then other than that, I'm just going to be hanging out with you and being your booth bitch, I guess.
Have you signed up for other games and things like that?
I don't remember. I think like a couple of them I wanted to get in were I didn't get into because the gold members got into it or something.
Oh wow,
like that.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I'm just planning on pretty much hanging out and fraternizing for the most part.
That's awesome.
I think I've got a couple of. Honestly, it's been so long. When I register for events, I don't remember what I have. So
I think if you log into their site, they'll give you like a little itinerary.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I could do that, but I have no idea what I'm doing really.
Well, I think after your game, I don't know if you're after your game if you're planning on taking the players out. But I know that the World of Game Design guys are going to do something Friday night after Catacombs and Comedians, or starts at like 7 or something like that. But it'll run, and it's a gathering of zine creators, and I think that's worth going to because
most definitely.
But I mean, if you and Forbeck and Kovalik and guys like that are going to go out for a masterminds of RPG genius. But I think it's worth checking out. And if folks aren't invited to said Legion of Doom meeting, that's worth checking out as well.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. All I know is from 6 to 8 that I am inked in for that.
That's awesome.
So I'll be doing that, and my good friend Chris Perkins will be at the show as well. So I'll probably hang out with him a lot. Yeah. And then, but I was going to mention, you and I will obviously, since we'll both be there Sunday morning, I guess we will be doing a remote Mazes and Muses.
Oh gosh, do we have the bandwidth? Will we be able to broadcast with any decent quality?
We'll figure something out. I mean, I'll bring a laptop, and
it'll be a slideshow, but it'll work.
We'll see how it goes. We'll do it from your table during the show, and who knows what happens. We'll see. We'll work out the kinks. We'll fix it in post, as we used to say in film school.
If I'm not sold out by Saturday, I'm not very ambitious about my first show. It's a thing that I try to do. Is I try to hit a single, and then swing for the fences. If I can make table at this event, if I can pay for my flight, if I can pay for that stuff, this will be a success for me. And then I can calibrate going forward because, again, I have no idea what to expect. I looked at the dealer hall map, and again, I'm not on it. So I honestly don't want to pack too much if I don't have a table. I've got one email that hints at the high likelihood that I have a table, but I don't know where it will be. So again, I don't want to. I want to get my feet. I want to find my bearings a little bit here and get my bearings, find my footing. I know I like to think I was better on a Sunday morning, but I'm not.
You had the coffee going.
But I'm excited for the event. But I'm not too. Well, that's what I was going to say. The dealer hall is very small compared to some shows we do. So I think that by the end of 4 days, everyone who's attending the event will pass by my table.
Yes.
So I do want to bring a stash of books. So if your buddy Chris Perkins comes by, if your bestie
Mhm.
comes by that I can give him a copy. Things like that.
Yeah,
But
no, and you and I still need to come up with some sort of mazes and muses promotional type of thing that we can have available there at the show. So we'll have that to promote that, and then I'm going to be all over the place just promoting Catacombs and Comedians as well. It's just this is like I feel like this might be kind of my coming out party. Hey, uh, tabletop role playing game world community. I'm Dan Taylor.
right,
Hello. So we'll see how it goes.
that's awesome. Switching gears for a moment, if you don't mind, unless there's Gary Con. I reached out to them asking about exhibitor space. I haven't heard back yet, but are you going there as an exhibitor, as a player, you're going to try to run an event?
I'm running I'm running 2 games at GaryCon.
Awesome.
Yeah, just for the masses, whoever signs up for them. It's not a show or anything like that. Just
as Catacombs and Comedians, or just as a DM?
I'm be running a version of Flagon's Fungin. So
That's awesome.
yeah, the goal is hopefully I've been working on it on this, among my myriad of projects, to have a Catacombs and Comedians presents Flagon the Dragon's Fungin adventure to have there at the show.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a well, I looked at the table at the artist exhibitor table thing. It doesn't look like they have an artist alley. It looks like they just have exhibitors. So that might be too big an ask for me to try to. I don't want to buy a booth. That's too much, given I'm still just a fledgling guy who makes supplements
at GaryCon.
At GaryCon. So hopefully, when I find out more information, I'll let you know. So that's really that will really affect whether or not I'm going or not. But you're not exhibiting there, are you? You're
not at this point. But I mean, if they mentioned that a exhibiting booth, I mean, perhaps we can split it and
if I learn, that's great. When I find out, I'll pass along what I learned.
Because I mean, I'm there. I mean, I've got I've got my hotel for there, and I've got my tickets bought. And
already,
and I'm doing two games that have been approved. They just haven't, and so they have. Nobody's signed up for any of them yet because they haven't opened up the signups for any of the events at GaryCon yet. So yeah, I'm there at GaryCon regardless, and then I'm there at Gamehole Con because I'm there. So yeah, this is I'm looking forward to, and it's coming up. Gamehole Con's coming up quick.
Yeah, it's about a month and it's a month from today, the 18th.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I got to get working.
All right. And you're driving there.
I'm driving. My plan is to drive halfway because it's about a 9-hour drive, 8-9-hour drive. So maybe I'll drive half the way, just get a room in a dumpy motel halfway there.
Are you trying to be there when it opens? Or?
Yeah, and to be there when it opens. Thursday. Yeah, it opens on a Thursday, right? It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, like 7 a.m. events start. It's 7 a.m. to midnight. The events,
if I'm there at 10,
that's
pretty much my plan.
Yeah, that's when the dealer hall opens. So,
so I'm like, that's my plan. Be there by 10. I can't check it in my hotel till 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So, but it's just right. No, at Gamehole Con, because the hotel information I gave you before was erroneous. I was looking at my GaryCon hotel information.
Okay.
We're golden for Gamehole. Golden.
We're golden for Gamehole?
It's all good. I think we're across the parking lot.
Holy cow. How'd you get that? Do you sign up on the 8 seconds in?
Something like that. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm good. We're it's close. Yeah, it's not right. We're looking.
I'll ping you after the event, after this to find out the name of the place, because I found that because I'm getting in on Wednesday, finding a hotel Wednesday to Thursday, pretty easy. Not too many people are checking in for the night before the event, so I shouldn't be hurting for a place to crash the night before. So
so we're good. Yeah, everything's good. I just got to make sure I'm ready for my show and whatever else I want to do.
Are you mixing things up because it's not comedians?
Not really, because I mean, I know Kavalik's a funny guy because Dork Tower's a great funny comic,
Right.
and Matt Forbick's got a great sense of humor. We've had him on as a guest, so that's fine. And the other two guys, sink or swim. I'll kill them off early if they're not funny.
Make a saving throw for what?
Just do it.
You've been hit with power word disappointment. All right. Well, that's fantastic. I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I do think it's. There aren't as many artists signed up as guests of Gamehole Con. I'm very disappointed. I was hoping like it was going to be like Larry Elmore would be right over there, and then Errol Otis would be sitting over there. But I think this is the right show to start with. It feels small. It feels,
and it's well respected by the community, and especially D&D and such, and same with Gary Con. So I think these are both good shows to dip our toes in, so to speak.
And the guy who runs it seems very well respected. I think the person I was dealing with for my table maybe was overwhelmed.
Yeah,
but,
Alex Kramer, who runs Gamehole Con, and no, I'm looking. It's going to be fun. Because it's weird. Speaking of conventions, I just got my notice from San Diego or Comic-Con International asking if I want to renew my professional status. I'm like, really? I still have professional status?
And what did you tell them?
I haven't opened up the email. Yet. I think I kind of want to use that as an excuse not to go to San Diego again.
Wait, was that mean? What does that mean? Like, it's too far away now? It's too much of a hassle?
Yeah. Too much of a hassle, too expensive. Before I could just, hop on the train down or drive down 2-hour drive. It was a piece of cake. Now I got to fly, across the country, and it's just become such a weird show. It's not like it's not the Comic-Con when, Hero Happy Hour first premiered, made its debut there and all that sort of stuff. So
do you think it was, I'm trying to check, because I always when I'm talking with older creators like my age, and that if there's a tendency that it's better back then. I know a lot of that is because our knees didn't hurt. It's rose-colored glasses, it's nostalgia. But is it really? What do you think it really was better then?
Yeah, it was definitely better then, without a doubt.
In what way?
Well, like our preview night, Wednesday night, you could walk around the aisles and it's half empty and everything's fine. Now it's like a regular day. The fact that everybody, I don't, sound like an old grognard here.
It's all right. No one's watching. That's our policy.
But it's gotten so big for all the wrong reasons.
Wow.
People are there for the movies and the TV shows that might not even be genre related, or it's
right.
And the exclusives and the long lines just for that, and it's just gotten out of hand. I mean, back when I first went there 25 years ago or so, I was there as a comic book fan, buying comic books and learning how to make comic books and going to seminars and panels about how to make comic books. And I'm sure those are all there, but they fail in comparison as to whether or not Zack Snyder is going to be there with a trailer for his new Star Wars ripoff movie. It's just, I don't know. If I could have did you ever go to Mid-Ohio Con back in the day?
Sure.
See, Mid-Ohio, that was my show. That's the show I loved.
Really? That's fascinating.
Before Wizards bought it.
Right. What did you like about it?
It was quaint.
Okay.
It was in 2 ballrooms and some hallways.
It was what I liked about that show with Roger Price.
Yeah.
That it was it was like Harlan Ellison was always there. That was awesome. But it was unabashedly pop culture. It was never Comic Con. It was never Mid Ohio Comic Con. It was Mid Ohio Con.
Mhm.
Mid Ohio was it Mid Ohio Pop Culture Con, maybe something like that.
Mid Ohio Con.
Mid
Yeah.
Ohio Con, and like playmates from the '70s were there exhibiting and signing glossy photographs. Selfies weren't yet a thing.
My first, because that's actually where Superhero Happy Hour made its debut,
Really?
was at Mid Ohio Con in 1999 or 2000.
How?
How?
Yeah, I thought you were a Californian.
Because I heard great things about Mid Ohio Con, and it was the first con on the, on the schedule that I could go to.
It was always Thanksgiving.
I would fly out on Thanksgiving because it's horrible to travel the day before Thanksgiving, but flying on Thanksgiving is a dream.
Wow.
Nobody was on the planes, and I would bring my comic books. I did Mid Ohio 3 times. And the first time was with Superhero Happy Hour.
I might have met you then.
We may have.
Yeah, 98, 99, 2000. I was absolutely Mid Ohio Con.
And that was the first time I met Chris Faison face to face.
That was a Bendis show too, right? He was always there those years.
Yeah. I was hanging out with Bendis and Oming, and it was good times. Because I went to the first time I went to Mid Ohio, or it wasn't even the first time. Well, let me talk about the first time. I mean, I came down the escalator at the airport, and there was Chris Faison waiting for me like a rom-com. And Chris Faison and I have been, essentially brothers since the creation of, since we first collaborated on Superhero / Hero Happy Hour. And the show, we did okay. Everything was what, and the table next to me was the actress that played Lois Lane on the old Superman TV show.
Noel Neal?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, Richard Price was so nice to us. This was our first show, I think that's like where I met, because I knew Bendis. It was the first time I met Bendis in person, but I knew him from his boards. And, Eric Powell, it was just, I met the digital webbing crew. And then so I went back the second time, and or maybe even been the first time. I can't remember, but I remember because you go to the party over at the Laughing Ogre
once or twice.
Yeah, I remember being in the shuttle bus, and Bendis is sitting in front of me. He turned around and said, "Hey Dan, has Marvel called you yet?" I go, "No." He goes, "Okay, I told them to." And I'm like, "What?" And they did call me, and that was my sip of coffee with Marvel Comics. But so that was very nice of Bendis to plug me at Marvel. But that was a great show. And then I actually think I came back as a guest the second or third time. I can't remember, which was nice. I think that's the only show I've been a guest at and haven't had to pay for a table.
At Mid Ohio?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was a guest for 1 year.
Well, I knew I had a great time at that show. I kind of knew this. I think it's when I met Tom Zoller. And maybe Paul Story, Bob Ingersoll.
Yeah, that's the one I met. I remember Paul Story. I met him there.
Tony Isabella.
Yep.
Was a mainstay. And John Byrne was also at almost all of those. I never really connected in any way because he was, like a force of nature, just kind of moving through and not really interacting with things. It was a great show. Really great show. My favorite memory that was being set up next to Dick Ayers. He was telling World War II stories the whole time. It was awesome.
So those are the kind of shows that I liked. I usually, made table, but it was just the fun, hanging out and the camaraderie. And I mean, the first time I had Superhero Happy Hour at San Diego Comic-Con was amazing. And we did way more than table. And, I made everything after, because that show was a Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come midday Friday was all profit from then on out.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I made a couple grand at that show.
Nice.
But those days are gone. No independent comics making that kind of bank anymore now. I don't think not at San Diego Comic-Con.
I mean, not with one issue. I don't
No,
think.
yeah, we had 3 issues at that
Three
time.
issues. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I do know like Dave Kellett. They sets up a lot of people like Barry Gregory with Kablam. They often set up there as well. Randy Ronaldo. I think there's a ton of people who still set up in San Diego. They must be doing okay. They don't give up their table. They go every year. I don't think it's just for the hope. I mean, a lot of them are locals. Again,
Yeah.
like you were saying, that really helps a lot. But I think a lot of them do okay. It's just, if you don't have to fly from New York or Washington D.C. or Florida,
Or Nashville.
Nashville. That's what, $600-700 right there.
Yeah, and not to mention the rooms are so outrageous at this point.
Yeah, so there goes $1,500 right there if you're lucky.
And then if you buy a table, that's So that shows just too much. Yeah. And it's fine with me. So
yeah.
But because I'm on the D&D tabletop role playing game circuit now, so what can go wrong?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. I'm curious to see if this is going to feel like a Mid Ohio. Is it going to feel like a local hotel convention? I have no idea, because for all I know, there's going to be these moments where I remember when costume contests first started appearing in Comic-Cons, where okay, we have the costume contest and the hall empties. Like suddenly everyone in the dealer rooms are just looking around. What happened? Where did everybody go? And everybody left to go to the ballroom or to go out to the parking lot to watch everyone running around in costume. So
hey, thanks for joining us. I miss playing at your table so much. Maybe I can sneak back in someday, but thanks for checking in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we talked about Baltimore Con. So the last time we were on was a week ago Sunday, and I had a show at Huntsville, and the Catacombs Comedian Show, and it went well. I mean, a regular crowd in Huntsville. I love Huntsville. Huntsville is a D&D city, and they love Catacombs and Comedians, and a good time was had by all. So, and my intern Jesse was the first time he played at the table.
Oh, how'd he do?
He did really well. He held his own. So, there's hope for all those people who say, "Hey, can I get in your table?" And I'm like, "Nope, you got to be a stand-up comic." Jesse's no stand-up comic, so
is he going to be now? Is he gonna?
He's got now. Yeah. Now he's got to go to open mics and
a tight 5.
Yeah, do a tight 5 and snort a lot of coke and I say after I just wipe my itch my nose, but no. But no, that may be the last live show at clubs for a month or a couple months now, because the holiday season's coming up and their schedules get weird at comedy clubs, and I'm not by any means a big name, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm working diligently on getting a more dedicated online stream Catacombs of Comedian show going. So that's in the works. I'm lining up probably all new talent and then I've got some feelers out, and I've been talking to some people and some people have reached out to me about hosting live D&D show possibility here in Nashville online as well.
Well, that's great.
So I don't know the details on that yet, so that you'll work on that. So maybe we'll be doing that in addition to the other thing. And then, I mean, there you go. I got an email from a company called Homesies or something. Homesies, or it's kind of like an Airbnb or Etsy type thing where, people with talent host parties.
Okay.
And they wondered if I'd be interested in hosting D&D parties in Nashville area.
So you would go there, you go to someone's house and be a DM on there, or would they come to you?
I would either my house or I'd find a location, and then they'd pay, like a group of people would pay, $300-400 or something for me to DM a game for them. So it's a new thing, and I haven't replied to them, and I'm just, I'm busy enough as it is. So
Right. It's interesting though. It's really interesting.
I want to do a little more research on that because we'll see. I mean,
Really interesting. That's kind of cool.
yeah. So yeah, so again, people are reaching out to me now because I'm a professional dungeon master. So there you go.
So professional dungeon master, you have your business cards ready for Gamehole Con?
Yeah, somewhere on this very crowded, messy desk.
That's fantastic.
All right, what else we got? Gamehole Con, Baltimore Con, Catacombs Comedians.
This Prayer's Handbook is what I'm working on, and I'll hopefully delivering everyone's death dealing soon. Just waiting on the card deck. I did get a note that they're in production, but I don't have an ETA when I'm going to receive them. So I'm not sure if I even want to do for my next Kickstarter a non-book object like dice, a set of dice or anything like that, just because it feels like it's such a wild card in terms of when I'm going to get things back. So I feel like books I can handle. Books I know what to do. I can make a book. That's easy. But making these other things, a plush or a statue or something like that, is way too much work.
See, that's what I did with Star Marshal. I made everything in advance before it even went live, and now I'm gonna have all the stock left over.
Well, so you did everything, but you just like you want to mail stuff out. They won't tell you where.
So we'll see how it goes.
That's good. I did. I get some stuff from Sticker Mule, and so they had a deal on some kind of stickers. So I've already ordered some. I've already started ordering stuff for Prayer's Handbook. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but so
not at all. After the first two, the third one's going to be, third one's a charm. So you probably do even better. Not to mention all the people who didn't buy the first two will buy the first two and this new one.
I'm hoping, and I got to test my pitch for Meta Domain while at Baltimore. I think I got a chance to polish it with the lines that resonated with people, the things that what got people to laugh or got people to perk up. So a little bit of market research while I was there. So
are you going to have a slipcase for all three?
No, because like I got a slipcase edition of like the first 6 Star Trek films, or maybe the first 5 Star Trek films, and then the 6th one was announced. Like, no. Slipcases are a nightmare for so many reasons. Okay, how about this? I was pricing. You ever go to Michael's and you see those really cool boxes that look like books?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what if I got one of those that looked like the Prayer's Handbook? It would double as a dice tray. It could be something that contains. I could ship things in it. And I'm like, okay, I found a vendor in China who might be able to produce it for me. Per unit cost, very little. It was like maybe if I got 500 of them, they might be $1 or $2 a piece. Shipping was $12,000 because they're assembled.
You don't have to overnight it.
No, that's like slow boat speed because they're assembled. They take up so much space. It's like if they were shipped flat and I could fold them together and assemble them or something like that. But no. Anything like slipcases are fixed things where all the glue and cover papers, it's an incredibly lightweight box, but a large box. And so 12 as I got the pricing, wow, $2 a piece, shipping $12,000.
You're not doing that well yet? If it was 10,000 maybe, right?
If the truck pulled up with the amount of boxes I'm imagining, I wouldn't know what to do with them. I couldn't get them in my home. I'd have to put a tarp over them outside or something like that.
Have you had books that you've had manufactured delivered on a pallet?
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that daunting?
It is, but it's always been like, okay, those are a few boxes. But the thing is, the slipcases, again, they're bigger than 3 books. And they weigh less, and it's just no slipcases. I will never ever do.
We'll scratch the slipcase idea.
Yeah. But not that I hadn't thought about
it. But you're true. You're right, because once you get you have a slip box or slipcase for the 3 books, you're going to have your 4th book, and then
and that's going to be Zine Quest next year. Are you back on Zine Quest next year?
I don't know yet.
All right. That's my project, is to get you back on Zine Quest 2024.
I mean, theoretically, 4D20 could make a neat Zine Quest idea because I want to do 4 20-page books.
Oh, I see.
You know, the player's handbook's one, you know, the monster manual's one, the basic rules are one, and spells are another, something like that.
That's great.
So,
wow. So you think could you sell the basic rules without the spells, or is the thing like you'd have to be a 3-book set?
4-book set.
Oh, it's a set. It's not like installments, like you sell one book and then 2 months later you're selling another book. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
Just to play on the 4.
Are they 4 20-page books?
Yeah.
Oh, they're really 20 pages?
Yeah, it would have 4 books be 20 pages.
Okay. That's doable.
Yeah. And then I could do a slipcase for those.
Yes, you could. Wow, 4 20-page books.
That's 80-page basic role-playing game.
Right. And then you have then you do then you have a hardcover version that's 80 pages by itself, and then that's $40, $45. You won't have to sell that many of them, Dan. It could work.
And then all the supplements after that could be 20 pages as well. So, you know, just so they match and
yeah. It's genius. Genius, I tell you.
Well, it's what, you know, you just come up, it's all just making, you know, power references.
Yeah, but it's also trying to make a game that's fun to play. You know what I mean? That's like, it's so many people make these games, and it's like, you know, I don't know. There's something I like about some of the Zine Quest projects, which are system agnostic or system neutral, where it's just fluff. There's zero crunch. Where, I mean, honestly, it could be like, you know, what was it, the Mr. Show sketch about the altered states of Drugsachusets, which was like an HR Puffin stuff, but it was all weed references. Like, if that were a setting where it's a system agnostic setting, that's something that would be people could do. I really think about sometimes about your town, Warrenhold. Forgive me. Warrenhold. That Warrenhold could be system agnostic. It could
totally be. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be tied to 5e or Valiant or heck, Morkborg or who knows. And some of the ones I've seen, honestly, the crunch it's got very little crunch. It is a soft food product. It is like a.
That's kind of the stuff I prefer, you know, because I've got my D&D, which is my crunch game, you know. So just give me most of the role-playing games I buy, I don't even read the crunch part of them. I just read the fluff part of them. So
okay. That's in free. That's not Free Comic Day. That's Zine Quest. And then so next game hole, we could be playing 4D20.
Theoretically.
Game hole 2024.
420 and 2024.
Excellent.
Yeah. 2024 is the year of 420. Of 4D20.
Is it to roll 4 20-sided die?
Yeah. That's the how you determine if you succeed anything. You roll 4D20 at the same time.
How does that work?
What, you want me to tell you the mechanics now?
Oh no, if you don't want to.
It's basically and it's all on one page, so it's simple enough to do one page of the rule, the basic set of rules, because people will be stoned when they play this game, obviously. But there's a target number you have to reach, just like in D&D, difficulty challenge or whatever like that. So let's say you need to get 12 to succeed. You roll 4d20. If none of them reach it, it's a critical fail. If one of them reaches it, you have a minor success. If two of them, and if 4, it's a critical success. So that's all it is.
Gotcha. So it's like super advantage. It's not like you have to add the totals of the 20 of each of the die up, right?
No, because people will be stoned, so they can't do all the math.
Perfect.
So
that's what I wanted to hear. I was wondering, like, for all I knew, it was going to be like, oh no, we've moved from a what is it? A 10 play system to a 20 play system, and it goes up to 4 digits. I'm like, oh god, my head's already broken.
No, so it's just, depending on how well you do is, or how many hit the goal numbers, how well you succeed at whatever you're doing.
That's great.
And then there's 4 abilities, body, mind, soul, and spirit. So right now I'm just struggling with getting the skills down, how the skills work. What do I want? What's my list of skills?
Is it a fantasy game?
It's a fantasy game, and I just don't want to steal from D&D or whatever, because I'd also like it where you can play around with it, like, because since there's body, there is no strength and there's no dexterity. But let's say you're an archer. Okay, you have the option to use your body as your advantage, or maybe you're an archer. You're really well at it because of your spirit. You're just your mindset, sort of thing. So I'm struggling with how to do that without, again, keeping it simple enough so people can play while they're stoned.
I love that so much. I love that. It always comes back to, can you do this with half your brain tied behind your back? That's hilarious.
Because if somebody says, I should be able to, because I want it to be like intimidation. You want to intimidate somebody. Well, you can do it by, your body, by a display of, prowess, or do you do it by mind fuckery and,
right.
Try to, double talk them or something like, so how do you, I can't, I don't want the player to be able to say, well, I've got a real super high soul, so I'm going to use, that's going to be my advantage for all my skills. So I'm just trying to find out how I can, so it's not easily broken.
Any proto lawyers are going to convince you that everything is related to your soul.
Yeah. So that's what I'm playing around with, because I don't know. I think I want the ability where the game is loose enough where you can say any ability can help any skill, as long as you're good enough, as long as your reasoning makes sense, or is it imaginative enough? Yes, this person can, like, what's a D&D skill? Stealing, like their stealth. Okay, is it your body? Is it your body ability because you're, how your muscles work and you do that? Or is it your intelligence because how, what shadows are the best to get into? Or is it your, spirit because you're one with the world around you and you can slip in and out, so.
Yeah, I remember when we grew up, like some of the coolest characters were all these mind over body characters. So even holding your breath would be like, no, it's not about my body. It's about controlling my mind. And like weasels would figure out a wonder. Although this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm really, I'm already enjoying how much weaseling characters will be able to do.
Yeah, and so and just think of your potheads and how much weaseling they do.
Yeah, be very creative.
Because I want to be able to be like, how do I know that stealth to you is the same as stealth to me?
Right. That's awesome.
So
play testing is going to be fun.
Oh, I probably won't do play testing. I'm just going to throw it out there and say, have at it.
I think we'll be lining up to play test this game.
Hopefully the more stones you are, the more sense it makes.
That's great. That's a very, I think that sounds like sage advice. Like anyone who has any questions, you're like, well, if you were high enough, you'd already know the answer to that.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be illegal in 15 of the 50 states, and be used for medical reasons for the other 12, and then
recreational in 5. I think?
Yeah, something like that.
That's great. That's also a pretty good ad copy.
So I'm using there's going to be 2 deities, the sativa deity and the indica deity. And so if you follow the ways of the sativa, you get bonuses to these abilities. Or if you follow the ways of indica, you get bonuses to these abilities. But then there will also be a hybrid in the middle that you can play around with. So
that's awesome.
It's becoming more complicated than the easy beer and pretzel game that I thought it was going to be. But I want it to be rich, but I don't want it to be overcomplicated. So that's what I'm struggling with right now.
There might be some inspiration in Morkborg.
Yeah.
There is currently a Kickstarter for something called Duckborg, and it's essentially like DuckTales, but in the Morkborg system, and it's ridiculous, and it's doing very, very well. But I think it's got some pretty great artwork, but I think it's simple in its concept. I think it may be a source of inspiration.
Yeah, I've got Morkborg somewhere. Yeah, right there. See it right there. So yeah, I'm looking at all sorts of games and a lot of independent games I'm checking out. So
awesome.
So yeah, once I can nail the skill list of 420 skill. No, I can't have 400 skills. It's too much. So I'm trying to. Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my latest mindset with this. Again, utilizing the number 420, and you've got 4 abilities. Each ability has 20 skills assigned to them.
Oh,
and
God.
Some of them may be overlapped. They're not original, So, because like I'm going to say, okay, stealth, you can either use body or spirit, but you can't use,
Right,
so there might be in the Venn diagrams, some may overlap with one another, but so maybe in total there'll be, I don't know, 40 skills total, but they'll, break them all up into the 4 groups, but each,
there'd have to be at least 80. No, wait, there have to be at least 40, right? So if each skill can only belong to 2 attributes, there'd have to be at least 40. And then each skill could be linked to 2 attributes.
Yeah, something like along those lines. So
awesome. I love this stuff.
Yeah. And then the skills will be very much, rather than say, okay, here's a fireball and here's a lightning bolt, I just say, here's an energy blast. You describe what it is.
Right.
So all the spells will be very generic. All 420 spells. I don't. All 20 spells. So to begin with. And then supplements will come out.
That's great. I like the idea of just limiting it to 20, getting everything to fit on a page or a few pages. Or
yeah,
you said the spell book is 20 pages, so each spell would be on its own page.
If there's 20 spells, maybe I might do 40 spells just so there's 20, 2 on a page or something along those lines. But also that book might also have magic items in it too. So, if it's a book of magic, who knows? It's all still very fluid, and
that makes sense. But still 20 spells and then 20 magic items as a 20-page book. That's really good. It's really, really good.
It requires more research and development. So I will be doing that on my back porch later tonight.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
what do we got on tap for this Sunday? You think we'll both be awake? And available?
I am definitely available. It's an away game. Okay. So I'm good to go next Sunday, not a problem. The next Sunday is a home game, so as long as I'm out the door by 11 o'clock, everything's fine on my end. So out the door by noon your time.
A short game, but short.
But I'll have my Titans gear all on, ready to go. You might even see me with a blue beard. I was experimenting with putting a blue stripe down the middle of my beard.
Fantastic. That'll look good at I'm sure that'll look good at Game Hall Con too.
I love my football. I love my Titans. Tighten up.
Did you just get adopted by the Titans when you moved to Tennessee, or were you a Titans fan before you moved?
No, when I moved to Tennessee.
And you immediately picked it up, and you're now rabid.
Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder now, and it's great. So
amazing. Yeah, amazing. I love it.
And I went to the game yesterday, and it was season opener, and it was a went into overtime, and we sneaked out a win against Los Angeles Chargers. So
how long have you lived in Tennessee?
Almost. It's been 4 years this week.
Wow, still, that seems awfully fast to be so in love with a team. That seems amazing. That seems amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, I will be in touch offline about.
We'll just sign off and we'll chat a little later. So, people, we're going to discuss secrets now. So
top secret, but we'll share most of that on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll share most of it Sunday. gonna tell Steve how he's gonna help me do research for 4D20 at GameholeCon.
I'm mostly going to bring bail money.
That's gonna be worth checking out that that live stream from GameholeCon.
From
So
jail.
what are the laws in Wisconsin? We will need to check that out before
You'll be
we
serving 4 to 20.
But I will be driving through Illinois, which I know is a legal state. So I will be well stocked for research and development.
Sweet.
Okay. Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific in the morning. And until then, may you all make your saving throws.